20 minutes of care and attention placed on the hamstrings. If anything causes pain or discomfort, please don't do it. You can scale things to fit you, and I'll talk about that as we go along, but for now, let's get started. So we're going to start with feet about shoulder width apart, and then a big bend in the knees. So I really drop down and have quite a deep bend in the knees so that I can bring my chest forward and rest the torso down on the thighs from here. So torso stays in contact with the thighs as I slowly start to straighten one leg out. And you may not be able to straighten it completely, that's fine. It's just slowly straightening one leg and then the other. And we're just alternating from leg to leg, just as a gentle warm-up for the hamstrings. I have my hands down on the floor because I can reach there. If you can't reach, then just grab a bench, grab a stool, block, whatever you need, so that you can work comfortably, taking a little weight through your hands, most weight through your feet, torso staying in contact with the thighs, and slowly working on straightening those legs as best you can. If you can't straighten them completely, that's fine. The important part is to keep the torso and the thighs in contact. Think about pointing the backside up towards the ceiling. So we just slowly work on getting these hamstrings ready for the attention that they are about to receive. From here, walk your hands towards one side, and if you need to, just bring your prop around to rest your hands on. Knees are still nice and bent, torso is connected to the thighs, and the leg that your hand is near, just work on straightening and bending that leg now. Again, this is a controlled movement, don't throw yourself through here. Really control this movement. Keep the knees nice and bent as you walk your hands to the other side. The leg that your hands are near, are going to work on straightening that leg out. Still keeping torso and thigh in contact. Slowly working on straightening that leg. If you can't straighten it completely, that's fine. Still think about pointing the backside up towards the ceiling. Trying to keep the back nice and flat. Walk the hands back to the center. Place your hands on top of the knees and then take a breath in as you bring yourself back to upright. Give that a little shake around there. Going to do a fair bit of work with one knee down on the floor this evening. So because I'm just on the carpet here, I'm just going to use just a little foam cushion to give a bit of padding to that knee. We're just going to move out into a long lunge position. So for our long lunge, bring one leg out in front. Back knees down on the floor, ball of the back foot is down on the floor. Take one leg out in front and then reach that leg out to a comfortable position out in front of you. I have my hands on the ground with hands either side of that leg. So you can bolster this out as much as you need to. If this is your long lunge up here, this is as much as we can get to. Just grab yourself something that you can rest your hands on in this height. Might be a chair either side, might be two blocks, whatever you've got to give you that support. Head on out into your long lunge from here. Bring your belly button forward so that again you're getting good contact between torso and thigh. Think about pointing the backside out behind you or up towards the ceiling, to flatten out the lower back. Keeping that lower back flat, now just straighten that front leg out as much as you can and then bring it back. So slowly straighten that leg out. Again, only working as much as you can. Keeping the contact between torso and thigh And we're just doing gentle pulses in our long lunge position here. Ensuring that you keep contact between torso and thigh. Doing around 10 pulses in this position. Then we're just going to take our torso to the outside of that leg. So I'm really going to shift my hands further across. It's my left leg out in front, so I'm shifting my hands further to the left, angling my torso to come out towards the outside of that left leg. And to get it there, I'm bringing that right hip forward. So it's not just a spinal bend that's getting me there, but I'm moving from the hips to angle out. Then drop back down. Torso down on that front thigh. And again, slowly work on straightening that leg out, keeping the angle. So keeping the opposite hip pulled forward. You may notice this moves the sensation to the outside hamstring area. Keep contact between torso and thigh. Working on straightening that leg as much as you can. If you can't get it straight, if it comes nowhere near straight, that's fine. You need to work in the range that is right for you. So around 10 there. Here I'm going to bring both hands to the inside of that knee. And now taking the chest down towards the floor, trying to keep that chest as low as I can as again I start to straighten that front leg out, but keep the chest nice and low. You may feel this move a little higher up the hamstrings, in more towards the glutes as well. Keep that chest low, and it's controlled pulsing movements here. Try not to let the chest rise up as you pulse back. And again, around 10 on this side, and then slowly bring yourself out of there. Give that a little wriggle around. So we're doing 10 pulses in each position as we set up for the other side. Other knees on your foam cushion. Leg reaches out in front, and take that leg as far forward as you can. Again, if you need to bolster yourself up, if you can't reach the floor, then just go for that. One hand is either side. Stick the backside out behind you as though you're angling it up towards the ceiling. Flatten the lower back out. Good contact between torso and thigh, and then work on straightening that front leg out and then coming back. Slow and controlled pulsing movement. Again, we're just doing about 10 pulses in each position. If I was doing a bit more of a longer session on my hamstrings, I might do 30 pulses in each position here. Keep good contact between torso and thigh. Work on flattening that back out. Don't let it round to make the contact. Even if you've got to bend your knee a little more to keep the back flat. From here, we'll set it up in the next position. It's my right leg that's out in front, so I'm going to bring my left hip forward to angle my spine out across the right leg. Move my hands across to support this position, drop the torso down, and then work on straightening the leg here in our controlled pulsing movements. Make sure you keep that opposite hip forward, don't let it creep back. You really want to put the emphasis on the outer part of the hamstrings. Get about 10 pulses there. Slowly come back, bring both hands to the inside of that leg, dropping the chest as low. Now I can get down onto my forearms. You might find it's just a bit of a bend through the elbows just to get a little bit lower. If you can, drop as low as you possibly can. Trying to keep the chest down nice and low, straighten that front leg out as much as you can. Should feel this shift, the intensity a little higher up in the hamstring, up towards the buttocks, possibly even in the buttocks as well. Still slow and controlled here. Keep the torso down nice and low. Try not to let that chest rise up as you straighten the leg. And slowly bring yourself back out of there. Give it a little wriggle around, whatever it takes to feel good for a moment. We're then just going to go into some active work through hip flexors, upper thigh, even through the front of the torso area, to just really start to activate on the shortened side of the joint. Even though we're trying to lengthen out the hamstrings, we need to be strong through this shortened side of the joint for those hamstrings to respond to the work that we're doing. So from here, my legs are out straight in front of me. I'm going to angle my body forward. So this is a tilt from the pelvis, not just a slump at my chest, but I tilt the body forward as far as I comfortably can, where I can hold this position, keep one leg locked out straight, and then lift that leg up off the floor. And then drop it back down. Lift that leg up and then drop. Again, just working on angling that chest as far forward as you can, but the movement comes from the hips to take that chest out in front. It's not a rounded back. Try and resist the temptation to round that back. And then we'll do the other side. Hands stay down. Lift that leg up. Try and keep that leg straight. You may cramp up as you do this. Cramps are your friend. It's just a little bit of neural confusion going on. Your body doesn't know what to do, so it's trying to do everything all at once. The more time you spend doing this, the more your body will work out how to do it without cramping. If you need to at any stage, just come on out and stretch that cramp out. Then go for it. Back to our first side. Again, check in with your body. Try and flatten that back out. Lift the leg up. Try and really control this movement. Try not to throw it around. Really engage the muscles with control to move the leg up. And we'll swap sides. If you haven't already, make sure you do. So here I'm just doing 5 or 6 either side and then swapping over, making sure it's even as I do that. Give that a gentle shake out. So now we're going to give that a little bit of a stretch while we move into a hamstring stretch as well for the opposite leg. But it will hit the back leg hip flexor. Again, we're going to come into a long lunge position from here, but this time we're going to see how deep we can get down in our lunge. So I'm using a slidey thing. This is just a bit of plastic, slides quite nicely over the carpet. You just roll up a jumper, whatever it is, just to help your 1 foot slide out. From here, my back knee goes down on my padded surface. Front knee or front foot comes up so that my heel is on the slidey thing. I've got a big bend in both knees, a big bend in this front knee. Again, I bring my torso down and rest it down on that front thigh. Pull your opposing hip forward so you keep your hips square. Try and avoid the temptation to turn this into a big hip rotation, but keep your hips square here so that opposing hip is pulled forward and kept forward. Engage those muscles that we've just switched on with the last exercise to now drive your front foot out in front of you. So it's strong work through the quadricep, through that inner part of the torso, that front part of the torso, to drive that leg as far out as you can, keeping the chest or the torso and the thigh in position to start to really stretch out through the hamstrings. So just check in with yourself here. Is your back hip still square or has it run away behind you? Pull that back hip forward. Activate through the quadriceps on your front leg to try and drive that foot out in front. Keep the belly low, good contact down on the thigh, and then drive it down to sink as deep as you can into this stretch. And if you've got a big bend in that front knee, that's fine. Again, whatever range is right for you is where you need to be working. When you've reached your end range, still keep the tension through the quadricep on that front leg. Breathe down into your belly. And here we will get active by contracting the hamstring. So imagine you're bending at that front knee, trying to scoop the front foot so it touches your backside. Strongly push that heel into the floor, pushing down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, take a breath. As you breathe out, engage the quadriceps. See if you can just straighten that leg a little further. Try and sink a little lower to the ground. Still keeping good contact between chest or torso and thigh. Still keeping the back hip square. Pull that back hip forward. Next we'll get active. Imagine you're bending the whole front leg. So the movement comes from the hip. It's that whole front leg now drives down into the floor. So strongly push that leg down into the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Take a breath. As you breathe out, engage the quadriceps on that front leg. See if you can just straighten that leg just a little further. Try and sink a little deeper. Then breathe. Focus on breathing down into your belly. And slowly come on out of there any way that's comfortable. So again, it's about working in the range that is right for you. If you don't get that low, that's fine. So long as you're getting a good stretch happening through your hamstring, then that's where you need to be working. Let's set it up for the other side. So now my other knee comes up onto my padded surface. Front heel out on my slidey thing. Bend in both knees, big bend in that front leg. Torso is down on that front thigh. That back hip, I square that, I pull that slightly forward. Think about pointing the backside up towards the ceiling as well. Engage the muscles, the quadriceps, even through, right up through the core to help push your front foot out in front of you. So I'm not just sliding forward and using gravity, but I'm actually using my body to drive this motion, using the quadricep through that front leg to really drive this out in front. Check in with yourself, is that back hip still square? Don't let it sneak behind you, but keep it square. Have you got good contact between torso and thigh? Keep the contact there. Try and sink down as low as you can. Stretching through the hamstring on the front leg, but you may also feel it in the hip flexors on the rear leg as well. Breathe down into your belly. From here we'll get active. Imagine you're bending at the knee on the front leg there. Drive that heel down into the floor as though you're scooping it towards your backside. Strong as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Take a breath. As you breathe out, engage the quadriceps on that front leg to drive that foot further forward. Trying to sink a little deeper here. Again, check in, is your back hip still square? Do you still have good contact between torso and thigh? Next activation, the movement comes from your hip of the front leg. It's a whole straight leg that's being driven down into the floor here as strong as you can. Drive the leg down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, take a breath. As you breathe out, engage the quadriceps on that front leg. Try and straighten it just a little further. Keep the hips square and keep good contact between torso and thigh. Then just focus on breathing. Breathe down into your belly. And slowly come on out of there. Again, any way that's comfortable. Give that a little gentle shake around. So there we have 20 minutes of care and attention given to your hamstrings. Hopefully you found that helpful. If you do find it helpful, please hit like, hit share this around, let everybody know. Also check out integralmovement.xyz.